Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, we shall be doing another Imperial Guard 10th edition data sheet deep dive. This time, we'll be casting our ever-critical eye over the Cadian Castellans. That's right, we've looked up plenty of Krieg stuff recently. Let's have a look at one of the other regiments of renown. And the Cadian Castellan, he's had a bit of a glow up in a couple of important areas. He's looking very tasty. And he might just be one of, if not the best, officer choices in all of the Imperial Guard. So, without further ado, with that bold statement made, let's Cadia stands and get right into this. As is tradition, let us begin with a cheeky gander at the stat line. Cadian Castellan has got a 6-inch movement. That's pretty unsurprising. He is a basic human. He has normal legs. He moves 6 inches. He's not sprinting around like an Eldar on 7 inches. He's not trudging forward like a Votan with 5 inches. As for the defensive profile, T3 with a 5-up save, a 5-up save, and 4 wounds is okay as far as guard commanders go. T3 means he's going to get wounded a lot. 5+ save, it's not really going to help him all that much. It's a nice to have. Occasionally, he'll bounce something he shouldn't. Most time, he'll just go down to pure volume of fire. 4 wounds is a bit of an improvement over something like the platoon commander. But again, guys, I'm just going to summarize this. He's not a combat beast. He's not going to go toe-to-toe with Primarchs. He's not going to go toe-to-toe with captains. He's probably not even going to go toe-to-toe with Space Marine lieutenants. If you're lucky, he'll be able to get into a straight-up fight with an intercessor. And even then, if the intercessor's brought some mates with him, he's probably not going to win that fight either. First lesson of guard officers. They are support characters. They are force multipliers. They are not close combat or shooting heroes. They are there to make your men fight better. Their stat line is almost irrelevant. It comes down to what equipment they've got, and it comes down to what abilities they've got. So let's just get to the important stuff. Standard issue, the Castellan comes equipped with a las pistol and chainsword. This is absolutely wank. You are going to want to replace that without even a second thought. You have a lot of choice on what you can give your Cadian Castellan. You've got a bolt gun and a close combat weapon instead of your chainsword. You've got a power fist. You've got a power weapon. Or you can replace the las pistol with a bolt pistol or plasma pistol. Weirdly, yes, this does mean that you can give your Cadian Castellan a bolt gun, a close combat weapon, and a plasma pistol. But there isn't really much benefit to doing this. He can be double gun man, but remember, when it comes to shooting range weapons, you shoot all of your pistols or you shoot all of your other weapons. So you can't go bolt gun in one hand and plasma pistol in another and do lots of shooting. Sadly, I know. I wish you could, but sadly it doesn't work like that. If you're asking me what loadout I would go for without even thinking about it, power fist, plasma pistol every single time. You guys know I love me plasma pistols, and it's just the best pistol he's got. I mean, look at the difference here. Ooh, strength 4. Ooh, strength 4. Oh, strength 3. Strength 8. -3. Damage 2. Yes. However, it is important to note that you probably don't want to overcharge this guy too much because he has 4 wounds. So yeah, if he holds the trigger down too much and takes some hazardous, he'll take 3. So he won't die from overcharging his plasma pistol the first time, but he probably will certainly die the second time he overcharges it if he fails his hazardous check. I would pretty much always overcharge it until you fail hazardous, and then I just go down to standard shot at that point. But even so, just looking at that standard shot, it's just better across the board than all of these other weapons. Sure, you could argue that the bolt gun has got 2 shots at close range, but still, I would happily take 1 plasma pistol shot over 2 strength 4 bolt gun shots. As for the melee weapon, I'm all about team power fist. And again, it's just because it's got the biggest numbers. Biggest numbers equal best numbers. It has got the strength of 6, it's got the AP -2, and it's got the damage 2. Now, ideally, we're never going to have to use this Power Fist, but we hope for the best and we prepare for the worst. And you'll find that that damage 2 actually is quite important, because you'll get in situations where your opponent might charge like 20 guardsmen with 5 intercessors. And if you've just got a whole bunch of damage 1 weapons, there's a real chance that, yeah, you get through the intercessors eventually, but it takes a long time and you're just being tied up and all this kind of stuff. And maybe you don't want to fall back because it might get rid of your firepower, or it might get rid of the objective control you've got on that objective. Having a path is just being like, no, bang, bang. That you just take out a couple, maybe even like 3 Marines. I think on average you take like 2 Marines out with this thing. It just helps a lot. So definitely go Power Fist. It does have less attacks, but again, same principle as with the bolt gun. It is much better to have 3 Power Fist attacks than like 5 chainsaw attacks. But like I said, most of the time, we don't really want to have to use that Power Fist. And you can kind of think of the Castellan's damage output as being an extra plasma pistol in your squad. That's not a bad thing either. Plasma is great. And if you've got him leading a big squad of Cadians, and there may be a Cadian command squad in there as well, we can really start laying down the plasma shots, especially within 12 inches. It all adds up together. I mean, this is a bit of a tangent, but indulge me. If you've got a big blob of Cadians, there's going to be 2 plasma guns in there. Then you've got a Cadian command squad. There's going to be another plasma gun in there. And then you could have a Cadian officer with a plasma pistol. And then you're going to have this guy with a plasma pistol. I think you can have one of your other Cadians in the command squad with a plasma pistol and power fist as well. So we're looking at 3 plasma guns and we're looking at 3 plasma pistols. That's a total of 9 plasma shots within a 12-inch range. Add in the fact that you're also going to have a couple of melter guns in there. And you've got a 12-inch range. You've got 11 high-strength, high AP shots before you even got to all the lance guns and stuff. So it can be easy to just dismiss, oh, it's an extra plasma pistol. But when we're talking about the economies of scale that often represent guard units, every plasma shot added in there is another dead potential Marine equivalent. So, yes, the extra plasma pistol is very nice. However, we're not really taking this guy for his plasma pistol. That's just a Brucey bonus. What we're taking him for is his abilities. And the Cadian Castellan, I think he has the 3 best abilities of any non-named character. Straight up. He's just really good. So firstly, he is an officer. He has the faction keyword voice of command. And one of the biggest improvements that he has had on his datasheet is he can now do 2 orders. That's huge. Cannot overstate how big that is. He can order 2 units. He can order his own unit that he's leading, and he can order another unit nearby. Now, what I really like to do with this chap is to combine him in a big blob of Cadians with a command squad. Because then, not only can he do 2 orders, but because he's in a unit that has a command squad, which has got a Master Vox, he can now do his 2 orders to units 24 inches away. It's very, very cool. Thanks to the Cadian Castellan, there is basically no such thing as an order bottleneck in the guard anymore. Because just because he can only lead Cadians, and that is important to note, he can only lead Cadian shock troops and Kazakin, it doesn't mean they're the only units he can order. So if you've got a Cadian Castellan with a command squad in a big blob of Cadians, not only can the command squad order the unit that's all together, but then the Cadian Castellan can take his 2 orders and order some Kriegers 24 inches away. He can order any guard regiment unit. It's not any Cadian unit, any guard regiment unit. That could be whilst your blob is pushing forward. Behind him, there's some artillery. Maybe you've got a Cadian heavy weapons team. Maybe you've got a field arms battery. Maybe you've got some of those new Krieg siege guns. He's ordering those things behind whilst the platoon commander's keeping the men pushing forward. Essentially, Cadian Castellans, and combined with other Cadian units, allow you to build very cheap Cadian command blobs. And they get the orders done. I've been building a lot of lists recently. And I keep finding myself putting a unit or two of Cadians in my list with a Castellan because it just instantly solves my order economy. It cannot be overstated. It's a big one. But not only is the Castellan massively enhancing your order network, he's also doing a bloody good job of supporting the unit that he's actually attached to. First up, the senior officer ability means that any ranged attacks in the unit he is leading get sustained hits 1. So this isn't just him. He hasn't just got sustained hits. If he joins that squad of, I keep saying, you guys are getting sick of me saying it, but if he joins that big blob of Cadians, 20 Cadians and a command squad and him, that is 26 models all getting sustained hits 1. And we go back to what we were talking about before with all that plasma. Imagine if you start putting first rank fire, second rank fire out there. You're going to get even more plasma shots, and then they're all going to have sustained hits. So sustained hits is a nice ability. It's just a straight up damage boost, which you can never look in the mouth. But it's the last ability, get back in the fight, which really gets me going. While this model is leading unit, that unit is able to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. Fall back and shoot is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. It's why GW has pretty much given it to every single faction in the form of like a stratagem. 1 CP, fall back and charge, or 1 CP, fall back and shoot. It's fall back and doing something. It's a really big deal. And we can just do it on up to 3 units because you can take 3 Castellans Stellans and they can just fall back and shoot. Being able to fall back and shoot stuff can completely screw up people's plans. You completely mess with what your opponent wanted to do. Because he might have a bunch of assault units pushing forward. He's like, okay, I'm going to, I've taken a bit of damage, but I'm going to get in there. I'm going to do a lot of damage to the platoon. I probably won't wipe them out, but then at least they're tied up and their firepower has been removed from the game for a turn. That's going to, oh, no, it hasn't. Because the unit I've charged has got fall back and shoot. So what happens is I charge in, I do my damage, they fall back and they blast me off the board. Get back in the fight is very strong. And I think it's something that often gets overlooked, but I've been using it quite a lot recently in some narrative battle reports and in some more competitive things as well. And I'm doing a lot of theory crafting with it. And it's starting to become a really important factor in a lot of the armies that I'm building. That just about covers everything on the Castellan's datasheet, but I just want to riff for a moment on some of the bigger picture stuff where this guy factors in. So firstly, he's a really good insurance policy for your vehicle orders as well. Now, he can, as standard, only order regiment units, but if he's in the combined arms attachment, there's a stratagem in there, which means that he can order, well, actually, any number of officers in your army can start ordering both regiment and squadron units. So if your tank commanders go down, because they are a high priority target, then the Cadian Castellan is like, that's not a problem. I can... we can spend that stratagem and I can keep the tanks going. And I think it's another big thing about him having 2 orders. Because even if he's not in a big blob of Cadians with the command squad, maybe just in the blob without the command squad, you can still have this guy doing an order to the unit that he's leading and then an order to a tank or something else that's nearby. Although, of course, he has only got a 6-inch order range, so you would have to basically set that up. But my point is, he does give your order network that little bit of insurance as well. Not just for other infantry and artillery units, but actually for all your tanks too. I think one other thing that's worth mentioning is the fact that it's only Cadians which get this Castellan. There's no Castellan Colonel. There's no regular ass like Krieg company commander or anything anymore. It's only the Cadians. Now, if you're playing purist, like you're playing pure Cadians or pure Kriegers or pure Catachans, then you might, if you're a Krieger and a Catachan, look at this guy a bit jealously because you're like, where's my independent 2-order guy? I think if you're wanting to make your list as, not as competitive as possible, but just, I feel like you've got to sort of shed that idea of I'm taking pure Krieg, or I'm taking pure Cadians, or I'm taking pure Catachans. I think you want to run that up to a point, but you shouldn't punish yourself because you see this as a Cadian Castellan. A lot of newer players think that you have to sort of take the Kriegers. You can't have the Cadians mixed in, or there's something wrong with doing that. That's just not true. You find it with a lot of veteran players as well because of how they've sort of built their armies up. This guy can be taken in any Imperial Guard army. You can take 3 of them. Sure, he can only lead Cadians, but you are definitely cutting your nose off to spite your face if you are not using this guy to solve your order economy if you've got a problem with it. If you're there looking at your Catachan army and you're thinking, man, I've only got 3 infantry orders from my Catachan command squads. This is really annoying. I want to be able to take more. Just take a squad of 10 Cadians, take a command squad, put a Castellan in there, give yourself 3 additional infantry orders, a nice cheap command block. Just do it. It's very easy to narratively justify this. GW has even said that you can have models as counts as, like, they said, do your Mordians have more in common with like Kriegers or Cadians and all this kind of stuff? You can, if you're there thinking about it in like a Krieg point of view, you could definitely see that Cadian blob. You could model them with as Kriegers, but maybe give them like slightly different like uniform colors or something. And the whole idea is they're the staff officers. They're the officers that aren't pushing forward with the men. They're the ones that are observing the offensive from a distance and coordinating it. They're your command echelon. So don't limit yourself. It is a limitation you're imposing upon yourself. Cadian Castellans are great. They're good for all guard commanders. You don't need to have a pure Cadian army to include them. Take advantage. And if you don't take this guy, you really are missing out because, in summary, he can do a buttload of orders. He can really support the squad that he's leading. He can be a great insurance for tank orders as well. Bear in mind you're in the right detachment. You've got the CP for it. And he even brings a cheeky plasma pistol and a power fist to boot. What's not to like? Well, at least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you like the Cadian Castellan? Do you think GW should release independent officers for each regiment? And if you don't like this guy, what are you using for your order economy? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button. And of course, as always, subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.